Hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Experience. So, just want to do a quick video before I go to bed. I'm tired. But anyhow, I was on the phone speaking to the TI from California, Alan MillerDr, and she was telling me how she's finally able to get a surgeon who look at her X-rays and said to her, listen, this is very serious and you need to have surgery right away. So prior to that, the other um, uh, doctor that she went to was trying to downplay her injury. So she had to get another doctor, and this is what they do. Right? Talk about the infiltration within every aspect of society. They will recruit doctors to downplay your injury, and this is why I say as a TI, if you are, if you have been damaged severely, okay. And when I say being, having a severe injury, it doesn't mean that you can't walk. You may not be able to walk fast. You may have to watch how you, depending on what your injury is, right? You just have to be very careful in what it is that you do. So you have to understand what your injury is and how you can aggravate it and stuff like that, because they will definitely try to manipulate you into aggravating that injury. But they will find doctors to engage in the tolerant behavior. I talk about, with the doctor that I used to have before, when my neurologist, that I used to see, because my cousin, who was my original doctor, my primary doctor, he's been my doctor since I was a child. Um, I used to go there, and his assistant would have me uh, there till like you know 1 o'clock at night to get on a Saturday or Wednesday, right? Because he had his private practice was only Wednesday and Saturday, and so it doesn't matter what time I go in. I can go early, right? I can be the first one there. When I can go there and there's only a few people there, and I will be the last one to leave, and she would make sure of that. Unfortunately, you know, he was also my cousin. Not unfortunately, he's my cousin, but he was also my cousin. But unfortunately, he passed away. All right, he had a aneurysm, um, and he had just finished doing surgery, and um, as he said he wasn't feeling well, and he collapsed. All right, and he knew he was going to die. Yeah, because he asked them to check his pulse. They said that they couldn't check his pulse, and they couldn't feel a pulse, and he said, "I'm going to die," and then he died. He was a very good doctor. All right, didn't get to go to the wake because I totally forgot. Sometimes when they target me so bad and so heavily that I forgot, so I didn't get to go. But I heard there's a lot of people there, hundreds of people that attended. He was a very very good doctor. I said my only issue was that going to his office. But anyway, when I was seeing this other, I went to this other facility to have another doctor. It was better. I could go there early during the day, and I don't have to stay all day. But I talk about the time when the neurologist, when he had to give me an injection. Right, it's in the back of my head for the migraines because it was really bad, and he left the needle right in the office and left the door open. Right, and then people were going in and out the door. He had people passing by, or have you, and then he was like, you need to go get a chest scan done downstairs. So when I came back upstairs, I talk about how they put you through these tests, right? They try to create a fight or flight phenomenon. But at the time, I was like, listen, like I said, I was studying what it is that they were doing to me, and I realized certain things, and I said, you know what? I'm going to follow through because if something happens to me, I'm going to document it. And you guys, I documented it, so the video's up there. So it's I got a lot of videos on YouTube, but my video's there, talking about what it is that they did. And I said, if anything happened to me, this is the facility, and this is the doctor that such and such. So I went from exhibiting the extreme fight or flight to now documenting to prove what it is that I was saying, including, um, you know, put myself in that position just to expose them. So that's how dedicated I am, and I want them to notice. Like I said, that's why I said my purpose is greater than theirs, right? Because they're lying, they manipulate. I'm gonna tell the truth of what it is that they have done and what they continue to do. And when I do videos like the previous video that I uploaded from on my way home, and I showed you guys in your predator department how they engaging in targeting and using what is called emotional manipulation. Right? Like I talk about the white guy who was behind me. I was getting on the bus, and then all the the women that I allowed to get on the bus in front of me, they all turn around, look at him, and then look at me. And that's why I turned around to show you guys exactly what they were doing. And he's on this white dude's on the bus, and he's like staring at me. I'm like staring at him, like, I mean, what? You know. But when you talk about what they see, one of the things they love to do, because you see these Christians, right? They're the most hateful group of people. They are. Don't listen to when they talk about love and all. That's bullshit. They are the most hateful group of motherfuckers. That's who they are, right? They are the cult of hate. They are from the religion of hate. All right. So anyway, so I got home. I was talking to Alva, and I said to her, because I noticed that every time I come out of my bedroom to go into the kitchen, my grandnephew would come out into the hallway. And I said to, and I went out my bedroom 3 times, came back in 3 times, and every time he came out from the other bedroom into the hallway. And then so finally, I said to her, I said, look, when I was eating, so I said to put my plate into the sink. And I said to her, I said, look, when I come out my bedroom, he's gonna come out into the hallway, right? And then so I come out my bedroom. Sure enough, he comes out into the hallway. And then I'm looking at him because I want to see what he's going to do. And he comes out in the hallway, get ready to go into my bedroom, and I said to him, I said, no. I said, do not go in there. Go back in the other room because you got to go to bed. You have school in the morning. Okay, so he should have been sleeping, right? Um, so, and I said that, I said, you see, this is what I talk about. This is what they're doing. They called me back again. Okay, now I just said to her, I'm tired and I want to go to sleep, but that's them activating her. This is you hear the sirens? As I said, that's them activating her, right? Because as I am doing this video explaining what it is that they had just done, they activate her to call me, right? Because I had just got off the phone. I said, listen, I'm tired. I have to go to bed. So why are you calling me back? Because it's not her. It is them using silent sound spectrum together to call me. Just as I was about to leave Pam's apartment, she calls me. So I text her, I said, I will call you back. And when I text her, I'll call you back, the New York Predator Department started using their sirens. Okay? So that is how I know when they are using silent sound, and that the New York Predator Department and its Predator officers, right, whichever unit they're in, that know about this technology, this is what it is that they're doing. So you have within the New York Police Department, you have the New York Predator Department and their Predator officers. Right? So, example, we know that within police department they have secret units. Right? So how do we know that? Going back to Malcolm X, right? The New York Predator Department secret unit called Boss. Right? And then they hire these black Sambos and Sambinas, right, to spy and orchestrate the covert warfare against their very own people. Then in the 1990s, what did they have? They had a specialized unit to do what? To surveil young black hip hop artists. Not only surveil them, but to also send snitches, right, who would plant drugs and guns on their tour buses. Right? So they have always been the predators of our people, and they will use some of our very own people, the Sambos and the Sambinas, to engage in those exact things that I just mentioned. They're doing it within our community. They have, again, because these people are more about trying to advance their career, and they will throw you and I under the bus to do it. Now here's the thing: when they have children, they never think about another predator cop doing the same thing to their children. And I hope that when they do this to other people and their children, like they're doing to me and my children, that someone does it to their children as well. Okay? Talk to you guys in the next video.